And we're on, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Welcome to the committee meeting of the Township of Bon Cher Valley on Tuesday, January 14, 2025. We're meeting in the council chambers and via Zoom. Are there any additions or questions about the agenda?
I do not have a mayor's report. Because our meeting was so late in this month, I already did my interview with the leader. So I prefer to do my mayor's report at your meeting. Because we do have the Roma conference and it'll be substantial.
Okay, well, that makes me sad, but thanks for letting us know.
I can give you what I gave to Terry Berry for the leader if you want.
All right. Are there any
Addition.
no about pecuniary interest?
Oh, you want a confirmation of the agenda first?
Oh, yes, of course. May I have someone move to confirm that's moved by Brent in favor? Or just carried? Very good. Is there anyone with a declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none, we'll move along. The minutes for the meeting of December 17th are presented. Has anyone any questions or corrections?
There's just the one I pointed them out to Annette and Sandra yesterday. It was just an adjournment. It was adjourned by me, but I wasn't at the last meeting. I had my regrets. So that was the only error I saw in the minutes. It's just the last motion and they're already changed it.
I was here. I think it was adjourned by Merv.
It was actually adjourned by Tracy.
They look so much alike.
It's family
Oh,
resemblance.
no. That's right. No, I meant you and Brett.
Besides that, I had nothing else.
Same
I
there.
had
today.
nothing else.
That's right.
Thank you.
So noted. Anyone to move for approval?
Yeah.
Thank you.
As amended.
As amended. Thank you. Moving on to delegations, delegations of which there are none. Okay. Moving on to reports.
Daryl's not here, right?
Daryl is not going to be here today.
Do you want to move right down to Sandra?
Yeah, no one else is here.
That makes sense. We'll move to 6.5, Sandra Bonner.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Sandra.
So the December 31st provisional budget report was in your package along with the balance sheet from December 31st. I am still making some year-end entries, so there are a few more changes to come.
But it looked really good.
Yeah, there's a few spots that are close, but
But you guys run a tight ship here.
There was
It's the pens. It's because we don't buy pens.
There was one, I was wondering about copying, copying, the numbers were like so different from the previous year. But anyway, we can get to that in a minute.
I know office supplies. was
Yeah.
up.
It was like 70,000 or something. Anyway,
No, it wouldn't have been that. That's not office supplies, that it might have been something else, but
Yeah.
I can look into
Yeah.
it for you if you.
oh, when we get to it, I'll comment on it.
Okay.
But otherwise, to your point, it's pretty bang on budget.
Yeah. Like, I don't know whether we just did a good budget or whether staff are just really good at managing the budget, but either way,
Good teamwork.
it is fantastic teamwork.
Did anybody have any specific questions on anything?
No.
And we are working on year end, of course, and the auditors will be here at the end of February. And then we'll start, but like the department heads have started their budgets and we'll be doing that in February and March. I had one tax adjustment this month. It goes back to 2024 due to a demolition totaling $48.73. So that will be in your package for approval tonight. The 2025 water and sewer rates have been calculated and bylaws ready for tonight's meeting. Also for tonight's meeting is the interim borrowing bylaw, if it is so required in 2025. At this time, I don't think we're going to use it, but it is there if we need it. And the 2024 council remuneration for everyone, 2024.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
gonna mention it to you and I thought you'll figure it out.
So that totaled $102,691.11. Did anybody have any questions on that?
That's Sanderson's too much expenses.
What's that?
That's Sanderson person, there's too many conference expenses.
Well, the challenge is if you go to one conference,
I know, it's huge.
right?
Yeah,
So, but I think it's important that you take the opportunity to go to a conference if we can budget for it.
yeah,
And, you know, I've said the last couple of years, our education and conference budget's been quite low because Roma pays for me to go to the Roma conference and county pays for me to go to the AMO conference.
yeah. It's
So-
definitely worth it.
It's, if we can squeeze in a couple of you guys going to each conference, then I think it's important. And you're going to go to the AMO conference, just not stay over.
Yes, like last
Okay.
year.
So, and if you wanna do, if anybody else wants to do that, you know, we can
Yeah.
budget for the registration fee.
All right, thank you, Sandra.
No problem. I did see Jason is here.
Okay. I just had one comment, Mr. Chair. Just the 70,000, I think that Tracy is talking about is under the miscellaneous revenue, which is copies and maps and other things. And
Yeah.
I think that's the contributions from non-Whitewater for the EV, but we didn't get
Oh,
that
yeah.
going yet
Okay,
this year.
that's it.
I believe that's what it is,
Yeah.
but if you look it up and it's something different, then if you can let all of council know that it's something.
Yeah, no, that does make sense. Now that you say
Okay.
It
that.
was a comparison to the previous year,
Yeah.
where's the gap was.
Yeah,
I
but it's
believe that's what it
revenue.
is.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but it was just such a huge
Yeah.
difference
Yeah.
that stood out.
If it's different, Sandra will let you know, but I think that's. what
That's
it
fine,
is.
yeah.
Okay, moving on, then we'll have, you said Daryl's handy?
No, it's Jason.
Oh, Jason's coming up next.
Well, Jason's gone. Here you come.
Give him a moment.
It's not like you have a long report.
Bon Valley is not quite as finely oiled a machine as county council.
No. We don't have a choice anymore.
Hello, Jason.
Hi, Jason.
I'd say all good, but we're a little bit of info here today. We had our Christmas tree drop off, with one tree this year.
Oh,
One tree?
One tree.
Oh my God.
I remember it used to be piles.
Now,
Everyone's using fake ones.
I think so. I don't know unless they're taking them to the waste center themselves, but last year, I believe we had 4.
oh,
Have you noticed a higher intake though at the dumps?
I wouldn't.
Because that'd be
say
Sand, that'd be
no.
Sand Road. You haven't
Yeah.
really noticed any difference?
They're burning
I think people
Maybe
want
they are.
artificial trees.
maybe they're burning them.
artificial and burning.
Yeah.
Or cute little ones.
But in all fairness, it's a good avenue to still, in my
Oh,
opinion,
yes.
like keep obviously, and the only reason for it, because I remember my first year in Eganville, and that pile was a lot larger then,
Oh, yes.
so.
Yeah.
Just
No,
people might just like more bonfires in their property, to be
Yeah.
honest, no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good service to have, but I would have assumed that you'd have a lot.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, when I was selling Christmas trees, I used to sell about 2,000 a year. Or more.
Yeah.
Where are they going?
Fake, I guess.
It's like
They're
one
fake
dryer in the
ones.
sock, or one sock in the dryer. Where did it go?
Oh, I know.
Our Santa Claus parade, we did provide assistance with, make sure everyone was safe by doing some traffic control.
Thank you so much. I was saying before the meeting, I received so many phone calls and emails. People loved it. They loved it at night. It's a shame. The one trade-off is we didn't have any animals.
Yeah.
And that's too bad. And I would say if we were gonna, if Rotary and the Legion would let us do it at night again, we'd move it earlier and try not to compete with a skating club event or hockey or what have you. But people loved it at night.
It actually worked out better for timing, for our, Camping Link with the MTO.
Okay,
Their switchovers at 7:30.
Oh,
So that works out pretty good. If you know. if
All
you
right.
get Around that.
Meaning
time,
be done by 7:30.
Give or take, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
so if we
That's a goal.
had it at 6:30, that would work.
Depending on the weather. You know,
Okay,
depending on if they ran back into town or whatever, you know what I mean? It's. It's either you start it a little bit later, closer to their end of their shift at 7:30.
okay. So we didn't really have a debrief afterwards with Rotary and Legion. But I will be interested because they really enjoyed it. I was really proud of us guys that we all went. Great picture of you guys in my truck. But I think that it was so pretty and the going through the lights on the bridge.
Quite a crowd, what?
And a huge crowd.
Huge crowd.
Yeah, I
I'd
got
say
the
more so.
impression as we were walking and talking that they had forgiven us for, having to defer it. So I think it worked well.
Well, we weren't in the forgiveness category. Yeah, anyway.
I think the crowd was larger. It
I-
seemed like it.
Okay, so when we came across the bridge and
Yeah.
around where Bank of Montreal and Conway's is,
Yeah.
I think the three of us said that too in my truck,
Mhm.
that it seemed like that area was packed with
Yeah.
people.
Yes,
And it was really cold that night
the
too.
only
Yeah.
annoyance was the electric car, but
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. Oh my gosh.
I hollered at them, talking about in front of the farmer's station, anybody wanna buy a car?
We eventually went around it. I was hoping that he'd pull over. I guess every time he stopped, the car, well, it went into its
Yeah.
Yeah.
sort of refresh.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he had to open the door and the mirrors and, did you see it?
No.
Oh, it was
Hilarious.
hilarious.
You get down
Yes.
to a certain speed, a low speed, it just shut off.
Yeah,
And then you
I
had to
don't
sit
have,
there and
I don't have road rage, Jason, so it doesn't bother me, but other members, I guess.
well, we went around him because I was thinking he might pull off when we were in front of the arena.
The mayor went around his stalled car like a driver on the 401 on Friday at 5 PM.
Yes, it was just like that. I was running over small children.
Do you work for the Secret Service?
That's right.
Yeah.
No, I just thought he might pull off, so I thought, well, I'll let people behind me know. But anyway,
Anyway,
It'll work out.
next year we'll put a Mennonite wagon in front of him so they can pull him if need be.
That'd be lovely if we could have them involved.
Who knows?
yeah, it would be. So the people with the horses that normally come, I think they were a little nervous about the lights and
Yeah.
flashing lights
Well,
and
we
all
didn't
that.
bring Wilbur, same thing.
Yeah, so, but it's a trade-off, so it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do for this year.
Okay.
But thank you very much for helping out
Problem.
and for de-ornamenting my truck. Cause I wasn't getting home like that.
Well, for sure. Also fire did his fate with
Yeah.
that also, which was a great help. And we had some volunteers also,
Yes,
which were really greatly appreciated. Wayside attendant sanitation position, we hired a new employee for the Sand Road site. His name is Michael Gabaret. His first day was December 23rd. We've also acquired James Laveru, who did some workforce in our hazardous waste and has filled in at other sites, and he's taken the position of sanitation assistant on the back of the garbage truck.
great.
Winter maintenance, it's been just event after event.
But little events,
So, yes. And
but not
that's-
in Plymouth.
No, you're averaging there between 2 to 3 inches of
Yeah.
run, so. Yeah, no, it's been very tedious. We get an inch in town and then as you go out, it seems to get more and more snow. And,
And I tell you, we do have a delegation with MTO.
yes. Yes, great.
Yeah, let's see how far we get, and it's amazing. Because I was speaking to one of the new wardens at the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus last Friday. And he was saying that they get around that by shutting the roads department down an hour before their cutoff, which allows I guess it restarts your clock.
Right.
So it was interesting, and I said to him, it's funny because we have a delegation to see if we can figure out these CVOR rules
Right.
and what it means to small rural municipalities and our plow truck operators. So we'll let you know.
That's great, thank you. For budget 2025, we are working on the draft.
Why do you have that look on your face? He's like, I'm at 32%.
We'll work on it,
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough year, Jason.
for sure.
So I mean, it'll land on this table and we will have to make some hard decisions. Sorry, John, that is part of my 2025 address. It's gonna be tough. We know it's gonna be tough. So we're just gonna have to figure out how to serve our population without, sending more of them to the food bank.
Right.
Anyway, I just come to my attention when I come across the bridge today and saw another banner. Did you get in touch with Barry's Bay about a lift or?
Yes, I did talk to them. They do have one and
Are they happy with it?
it's very slow because it's one of the ones where you just climb up into it. It's very narrow.
Yeah.
It'll go down the sidewalk. And it's just got a cage on top. I don't know if it's battery, so
Well, I didn't know whether it was, I didn't know whether it was battery or it had a little motor, a little Brooklyn traffic.
yeah.
How old is that?
Wouldn't
It's just like a lift.
yeah, but wouldn't this still the simplest be similar to other municipalities around, just lowering all of our flags, Remembrance Day stuff, is there very high. Lowering it so it's attainable either off a truck or off a small ladder, and then,
But you can't do that on the bridge because of transport.
well, a bridge, yeah, but the bridge, could it be as common sense as just two pulleys on both sides of the bridge that you send it up and send it down, like that's
Well,
gonna
you gotta
say.
plug them in, though, that's the problem, and the plugs up at the top.
And the plugs on the top, well, could we,
Really?
but couldn't, but why,
Bridge
why,
banners
but if,
rather
we-
than above.
but if that's the only thing preventing us from having to utilize a boom truck in town, which we have to bring that service in. You don't need more equipment, in my opinion, and stuff to maintain, so then why would we not just look the plugs up top, then why would we just pay an electrician to lower it? Costs us $1,000, a boom truck every time we use it, it's probably $1,000 regardless,
I don't know.
or whatever the final. If the invoice
It's-
finally came in or
it's
not,
expensive.
it's not cheap, so what I'm
Yeah.
saying is like a long-term alternative is why don't we just go back to the basics and be like, hey, if we got a hand pulley it up. And we can look at it, chain it off, lock it, done, so I think there is other alternatives that are a little cheaper.
But I was also thinking in terms of streetlights and other, I mean, lowering the banners is fine. Changing the way that the lights on the bridge are is fine. But we still have other things that this scissor lift, if it was cost effective, number one, and I'm not sure about battery, especially in the winter, but if it was a useful tool, I think that you could use it for a lot more than just banners and flags.
Oh, for sure, we would, do maintenance built on buildings, right? We could do.
Yeah.
Maintenance if, if we have the time and the manpower, tree trimming. You just haul it down the road and there's lots of areas where we can trim the trees back that are kind of overhung and stuff, right?
Okay, so between now and budget, keep looking, Jason, see what you can find. If it doesn't fit into the budget, we'll have to figure something out, but I see this as not sort of a wish list item. I think that it would save us money in the end, because every time a streetlight goes out, you wait until there are 3 out, correct? And then we call somebody in. Well, why not? Why wouldn't we be self-sufficient, especially now installing LEDs that last a hell of a lot longer?
Right, the only thing I'd have to find out from an electrician if they can do the work. Like, I don't know if there's different,
Well, your height there is a lot, your streetlights are a lot taller than most of your stuff you'd even reach anyways, because once you reach a certain height. It's gonna be a different equipment you're gonna need than just us changing poles or us doing other things.
yeah,
So if there is other utilizations, all I'm saying is
Yeah.
if there's other utilizations you're looking at, great, we just have to know, because originally when we we're looking at this, we're talking about alternative for signs. Well, the simplest solution, I still think, is lowering all of our signs, so you can see if we do ever get grant funding to replace our spring or summer signs. Then the thing is like if we put it into core pictures up or anything that goes up there, you can't see them so high up. Like in all fairness,
Yeah.
like I think too tall. I'm just looking at, there's other alternatives that's cheaper than us having to purchase something where you have to maintain.
It still doesn't get us away from the banner on the bridge. Cause you
Well-
can't lower it for transport trucks.
But you could use alternatives, sorry, banners, sides, you know,
You
where
could,
they hook on, so they're not gonna, like a flag, the way the
No.
flag, you can't see them, right? Like there's different ways.
Where
of doing it.
where I'm looking at is like, I'm sure there's an easier solution than us spending, like I was waiting for the Bruce pull invoice to come in to see what the cost actually was last year. The thing is, like, you can look at it and be like, are we willing as a council to spend that money every single year? Or you can look at it and be like, hey, if the switch is up top, the only reason you're getting it, we'll pay an electrician next time they come in, lower the plug. That's straightforward.
but where would you put the lights on the bridge?
Same,
Well, in the same spot, you just, instead of plugging it up top, you just plug it in the bottom.
But you still need a boom truck to put them up.
We just leave them up all year round then. Like, that's the thing. What is the negative of leaving the lights up all year round?
Weather,
They won't last as long.
as you can see already, there's one out right at the
Yeah.
top. But, you know, if you had it on a pulley system. There'd be
oh,
nothing.
you would pulley them up and down?
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
There's other alternatives that have probably worked for years. You see all sorts of people put them up at their houses. There's other alternatives. We don't always need technology or something fancy or something expensive.
But this isn't fancy and he can use it for other things. He just said like building maintenance and trimming trees.
Yeah, but every time you go up higher, it's gonna be a bigger piece of equipment. Like if you're planning on switching the light, like the light posts with it, I'd be surprised if we're able to, but that's my opinion.
Yeah, so the minimum length on those are 50 feet.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah.
Mhm.
I am spatially, I don't know what 50 feet would.
So I'm fine reviewing it
Yeah.
on a future
Yeah.
date, but I think the first thing is the common sense. Even if we had that lift and we decide to get it, I still think it'd be quicker to just manually lower all the signs, look at it, do it a one-time thing. What's it gonna cost for us to lower it? Fully clamp both sides of the hydro pole, done, over with, and it's simpler. Then you don't need to rent it. You can just go there when a can of flag breaks.
It might be worth a try. Sometimes you
Well,
have to try something to
Well,
find out what it's worth to
other
us.
municipalities do it. I see Quadville switch their signs out every single year. Actually, even Douglas, all their signs are a lot lower as well.
They're really low.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
then why in Eganville and why in our township do we have them so high? So I'm just saying, why don't we just review lowering them all to what makes sense that's attainable for maintenance? It's like, there's a reason, like, a lot of people only build a one floor apartment buildings and stuff like that. It's easier to maintain, no different than our signs.
Or do away with the banner. Like I said, there's alternate ways to advertise than having that banner over the bridge.
Oh, you mean?
Yeah,
across?
just not have it, just have it on the sidelines, on the bridge, like poles that you can access.
Well, there are poles there.
But it's
Yeah,
not,
do it at each end.
it's not just the bridge, it's not the other flags we put up and pictures we put up on the light posts and whatnot.
That's what Brent's
Yeah, that's what I'm
talking
saying.
So
about.
that's,
He
that's
said
why,
what
lower
Brent
the-
said.
that's what I said
Yeah.
last year, and I'll say it again this year. It's like, we just have to literally lower them so they're attainable for our workers to reach. And then when it comes to the bridge, that is a separate conversation, because that's a conversation for council to pretty much discuss, be like, hey, are we gonna keep waiving the fees for it because it is expensive?
Yeah,
Or are we not? And then secondly, what is an actual real alternative? So this is the first time in probably 6 years me being here saying, well, we gotta plug the lights in up top. Well, I've been like, well, that doesn't make sense. Lower to the bottom, that's easier. Put a lockbox on it, done. Like, that seems straightforward to me. But that's the first time that's been apparent to me.
I would still like to know what a scissor lift would cost, just out of curiosity. Because although I agree that the banners should be lowered and we need to buy new banners, like the ones that are up, they really don't look good. But I see this as a tool that could be used for so many other things. I mean, whether it's this year or never, but I think that it should be on your budget, justification report.
Maybe you could throw it out to several suppliers, see what they come back at, and And with a motor, with a little Briggs and Stratton rather than relying on a battery. I have no idea, I have no idea
Yeah.
what it would cost. You may have a good used one around someplace, one of the suppliers.
And there's that alternative, which I'm fine, we can bring anything to budget to review. But I would say that it's like before we're looking at spending a lot of money, because they aren't cheap. They aren't.
But we don't know.
Well, you can.
Oh, you did get a price. Okay, you didn't say that.
Used and new.
Yeah.
What was the used one?
I'd have to look at my numbers. I can't remember offhand, because there was two different ones. that
Okay,
they
so
were gonna
it's-
Sell.
It's the cost balance of what is it going to cost us to manually do all of this? Versus what we're paying to have it done versus a piece of equipment that could last 10 to 20 years. So that's the justification report. Okay, yeah,
We'll bring that next
don't give us
meeting.
numbers if you don't know,
We
Jay.
look forward to the April meeting when you present.
Okay.
All right,
Any other questions? No.
I'm looking forward to your budget this year, by the way, Jason.
So am I.
Thank you.
Take it on first.
Nope, last, sorry.
I have a question, but perhaps the mayor could answer it better. How many communities in Renfrew County of the 22 communities don't have a provincial highway running through them? I can think of maybe Killaloo.
you mean the actual village?
Well, any community with a council, any township, they all have provincial roads, which must be a headache for all of them.
No,
Killaloo would be 512.
well, that's a county highway.
County road.
Are you just asking for the sake of asking, or like, what's the?
No, because we have to make accommodations with the Ministry of Transport for anything that we do on our main street.
I know,
Yeah,
and it's been my beef for 15 years. Is it their road or is it our road?
okay, that's fair.
So, a lot of villages have provincial highways,
Yeah.
but some of them are not being used as provincial highways. Like they call, Pembroke Street in Pembroke, Old 17,
Yeah,
right? So,
all right. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
but we're the big winners, John. We have 2 connecting links.
Yeah. It's true. Yeah, saw Daryl Wagner close,
Daryl,
and I saw Kevin, so it's a race, whoever gets in first. goes home
Exactly.
first.
Maybe they're together.
there he is. Daryl, did you see on the news this morning, the electric school bus that burned up in, Skoka?
I did not.
Hopefully vacant?
They got the kids off,
Oh, okay, that's.
yeah.
Well, we have something that may alleviate that. It's an inhibitor, so we're gonna give it a shot.
Okay,
Yeah.
instead of just letting it burn.
No, instead of just water or foam. It's the inhibitor supposed to be able to snuff out the lithium, finally,
Okay,
so we're gonna try it.
would foam work? Not,
Foam,
not great,
really.
yeah.
This inhibitor breaks up the fire tetrahedron, so it separates the oxygen, the fuel, and the heat. So-
How expensive is it?
About $260 a pail, but you're not going to use as much. As it's supposed to be a lot faster, and it clings. Foam doesn't cling, foam just runs off. This is gonna cling to the.
And foam's expensive as well,
Foam's
correct?
expensive,
Yeah,
too. It's about $180 a pail, so.
And then what's the the lifetime of the product?
They'll sit in the truck, we have a foam bank, so we could just make some changes with that, just flush it out before we try to use it. Or we're gonna do a handheld first.
Mm.
We're gonna use their foam we have, and then we're just gonna do a fire and see how it goes.
okay.
But so there is an option,
Maybe that's how they got the school bus out this morning.
it's possible.
But it's a shell of a school bus, so I'm not sure. I think they let it burn.
Fire or building first?
Well, I usually do fire, this is the first one, so, you can see our year-end numbers are a little lighter than last year, which is always a good trend going down, so. It's just one thing we can't control, but, that's a plus, we had wasn't a overly busy year, but we had some challenges with, with the fatal fire on John Street, that was a big one, and took its toll, some of us, so. but we're working through it. So. And it's look for the lower numbers in 2025, you know, but we can't control it, so. And we did put out, for recruitment, and I got 2 hits right away, so.
Oh,
we'll see how
great.
that goes. So we're gonna hold off a little longer. We try to run our recruit program in the spring and bring them in and run it through the first 5. We'd like to have more than 2, but I told them to be patient. So I got their resumes and their applications, and I'll be in contact, so.
Introducing some grass fires in the spring.
Well, adding 2 in Bon Cheval Valley is like
Brr.
20 in Pembroke.
I heard.
That's what
I
happened.
just was kind of, yeah, we
Seriously?
let it go.
Yeah, run, Daryl, run.
Well, with the amount of moisture we have on the ground right now, it could be a dry spring, we don't know. The back half of winter could be extremely lots of snow.
Hey,
Again, we can't control that.
okay, you guys have to stop putting black.
Put it out there?
Right? Just.
Yes.
Reality.
Oh my gosh. Too soon, Annette,
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
too soon.
Anyway, I thought 2020, it was nice to have it was a good year because it was lower than the year
Yeah,
before. So
yeah.
that's a good thing.
It always seems, I know it's when a new chief takes over, it's for some odd reason, that first year, the numbers are elevated, nobody can explain it.
Maybe it's you.
Well, no, it's not, I said it.
I'm just
Any-
saying,
Any new chief, not just me.
really.
Yeah.
All right.
Years. And then all of a sudden it'll start to level off.
I,
Well, it can only get better, to be honest.
come on.
On to building.
On to building, so you can see our numbers,
Yeah,
yeah, they were okay, they're actually, the numbers were higher, even though the totals were less, but we had a couple of major projects in 2024, so.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we're doing okay, I already have 4 in for this year.
really?
Yeah.
Build or renos?
There's 1 new house, actually 2 new houses. And just a couple of, small porches and I think a garage, so.
So I mean, everybody knows that the province, I mean, they want us to cut red tape, they want us to be builder friendly. So anything we can do in this housing crisis, to help people out to a point,
Mhm.
obviously.
Yeah,
Within the, the provincial policy statement and the official plan in your building code.
yes.
But it's a huge push. We heard it at the Eastern Ontario Ordinance Caucus meeting last Friday from Minister Calandra. They are bound and determined that we are going to get out of this housing crisis as soon as possible. So it makes, and I know that these aren't necessarily affordable, but as you build, do affordable homes come up? And I think that's where, it's not just, we need to build affordable homes, where are the people moving from, are they affordable?
Mhm. Yeah. The biggest challenge I have really is that the plans I'm receiving. Some of them are
Okay.
just, I keep pushing back that I need something better.
Written on the back of a napkin?
Well, not quite that, but they're just, some of them are not very detailed and I need detail.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But that's great, 4 in 14 days.
Well, I think some come in just when I came back from the Christmas break, but they said there were no rush, so I really haven't been, but I'm probably gonna start looking at it because it'll start again,
Yeah.
usually like March. March figures, April, I was gonna get some.
Yeah.
So. And that's pretty much all I have.
Very good. Any other questions? Okay.
Thanks, Earl.
Hi, Daryl.
Here he comes.
You're like a relay team. One taps out, one taps in.
Tag team council.
That's right. You're pretty proud of yourself, aren't you? That's great. Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
Good morning. Weird.
My lawyer will still be in touch
Oh my
there.
gosh.
I'm fine,
That's good.
I'm fine.
Well, it sets up the next, like this Christmas party in 2025 quite well, right?
In 2025, I've been
I think
told,
I'm gonna do a speech actually in 2025. So I have such a good like, and I could MC that whole event actually, and I have so many good
One-liners?
advertisements and everything. like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
so I've been told that I'm not allowed by somebody, that I'm not allowed to take my shoes off to dance.
Well, that'll be one of the first policies that get addressed, obviously. So. Yeah.
Hey, that solves our problem because we're firing the last DJ. Now it'll be DJ Fuzzy Pat.
I like it,
Yeah.
Perfect.
I like it, okay.
Go ahead,
So
Kevin.
keep your shoes on, I guess.
Yeah, I'll keep my shoes
Do,
on.
do we have signage that says that? We'll backtrack the date. Yeah.
Recommendation?
It's all eyes on Murphy.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll hear some Crocs next year.
My rep report is fairly short. You can see the arena's been quite busy over the Christmas break.
Your public skating numbers are amazing.
Yeah, it's they're really pulling strong and still are, like, you know. And so is the senior skate in Parents and Tots. We're at 25 yesterday, so which is good, so,
Wonderful.
yeah.
I understand people are pretty excited about the outdoor rink as well.
Yes.
Good.
Mother Nature helped us, and with other help from the fire department and the roads,
That's great.
everybody. But no, it's going well. Hopefully we get there's some cold weather coming up. I want to put another couple more floods on it just to shine it up, but it's getting used.
Has there ever been a request for the public skating to have additional public skatings?
I actually got a request over the Christmas
Like
holidays.
just, I was
weirdly
just
enough.
curious, it's something like we have X amount of sessions left for public skating. I was just curious, like, have we ever looked at it previously? If there's another date or another day that people look at doing a,
Not to my knowledge, Brent, but hey.
just
we're
because
open,
because I
yeah.
find the last bunch of years, our numbers have been very consistent,
Yeah.
very good. And you never wanna, I guess you would say crowded or anything
Mhm.
like that, so I was just looking at is like, has anyone ever put a request in, see if we want more public skating, I guess.
I guess I would say I haven't received one, but definitely something we could look into. One thing about Sunday afternoons, it's a good time.
Mhm.
It's to pick the right time.
Mhm.
That's the thing.
And I'm good with the Sunday
Yeah.
afternoons, I just didn't know if we see the numbers over the last bunch of years, you have a higher intake, say in December, or January. Then maybe we could look at running 2 sessions a
Yeah.
week for that month and just seeing if it actually, because if the numbers are consistent, that's just a value to our residents. that
Oh,
we
for
have.
sure, yeah.
And that's what I'm looking at, because I've been seeing the numbers have been very consistent over the last several years.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
that's just something that I just
Yeah,
didn't know, I didn't know while we're there and we're intaking residents for public skating, see if there is any. Not that we're changing it, I know
No,
Sunday
no.
afternoon's a great time to do it,
Good.
but I see if there's any other times or other days that they would look at doing as well.
The only, like, the only extra times we'd have is Saturday and Sunday evenings, and like, and you're looking at 6:30, 7 o'clock to
Yeah,
start.
so it'd be way too
Yeah,
That's-
yeah.
That's the catcher on that.
But I did have a request during the Christmas holidays, weirdly enough, that did we have more public skating over those 2 weeks that the kids
Right,
were
right.
off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
just because the outdoor rink wasn't ready.
Wasn't ready, that's right, yeah.
And other years it has been. So I haven't had a request, but this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe to Brent's point, maybe for
I'm
over the
just,
Christmas holidays.
I'm just
we have
thinking
another
of
one.
like, when we're looking at like our sponsorship for events for next year, and when we're looking at laying out our schedule. All I was getting at was just maybe see if we can add in a couple additional Christmas over the 2 week, the break, and then same as your March break as well, right? Just seeing what actually fits in best for ice times, then we can set ourselves off of that. And by gauging that would be like, and just seeing what the other alternatives are,
Yeah.
gauge the population you have when they come out.
March break, you're pretty full though, aren't you?
Yes, March
Yeah.
break, we have the public skating every day and there's I see what's happening, more of a trend is more private rentals, like families renting.
Yes,
I see an upbeat on that. and
No, and that's great.
That's great.
that's really
Good
great.
service.
So I do see that.
So we have a family skate in Toronto every year over the Christmas holidays because their outdoor rinks are all
Mhm.
Artificial.
it doesn't matter when you could skate in July if you wanted to. But it's really nice when you rent for your whole family and they're like, 50 of you. It's so much fun. So I love that people are renting it. Yeah, but yeah, so I knew March break is packed.
Yeah, March break, we have skating, public skating every day.
Yeah.
Every day. And plus we have additional people reached out and rent prior to us, public skating, on
Right.
both sides of it, if we can work it. in.
Nice.
So two things. Number one, how did the skating event go on the 20th?
Skating events. Oh, the
Figure
The
skating.
skating club.
It was
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
it was great.
Full
Good.
house, full house. full house.
Excellent, excellent. And thank you for your help with the Santa Claus parade.
Thank you, not a problem.
It was so much fun.
Great turnout for that. I think it
Yeah.
was, awesome, yeah.
Yeah.
Good,
I forgot to thank Daryl. I'll thank him later. I meant to thank everybody publicly, because it was a team sport, that's for sure.
no, and the weather that night was perfect, so.
It was.
Yeah.
I liked that it just started to snow a little bit, but
That's right.
the people in my truck will tell you that I had an epic fail because I had my lights strung across my my windshield wipers and then I turned my windshield wipers on.
And that's a sure way to get stopped by the bride program on.
That's right? That's why Jason helped me take everything off.
I got it. Well, it's good.
I think, well, it's the Eagles Nest, like I said, there's the hockey tournaments are starting now and we have 5 consecutive Sundays booked starting first thing in the morning right through. Like, Centennial Park, outdoor rink. And the village, the Bolshevik Cup banners up and hopefully we got good weather for that weekend. It looks good
Yeah.
right now. And that's pretty much my working on the budget, so that's for my report is.
I think you mentioned last time that you've, all sponsorships are taken care of for this year.
That is correct, that's correct.
Another reason to have trying to find another hour for public skating somewhere.
Yeah.
It allows people to give and participate.
Well, the nice thing was though, because Kevin didn't ask me about the public skating this year, Murphy's Auto is sponsoring a gift certificate for the six-handed euchre tournament for Guy Jameson to help pay for music in the park. So we ended up sponsoring anyway. So I guess Preston Cole's doing a big euchre tourney.
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Thank
think
you.
that's the end of my report.
Thanks,
Any
Kevin.
questions?
Thank you.
Okay,
If you see Daryl out and about, send him back in for 2 seconds.
very thanks.
We can say thank you.
Yes.
We'll do that. One more report to go.
So on my report, I talked about the rural transit fund. So that is with the electronic vehicle and the charging stations. So I have met with all the CAOs. We did a draft agreement. I just met with our insurance this morning to go over all of the different things to make sure we're checking all the boxes because that's the thing. So I have some amendments to do to the agreement and I'll meet with the other CAOs. So my hope is to bring forward that final agreement to committee and council in February. And then we can move forward with some headers and get this going. Daryl.
I just forgot to thank you publicly for your help with the Santa Claus parade.
Oh, you're welcome. I didn't do much.
It was a team effort.
Yes.
Yes, so thank you.
I was blinding people with my lights.
You were?
Well, had my.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah, and then when we doubled back to come back here, you and Jason had cut a lead eye off. We're like, move your truck.
I'm sorry.
No, it was very good.
Okay, yeah.
We really enjoyed it. I got a lot of phone calls and thank yous over the holidays.
Perfect.
So I just wanted to make sure that everybody got a thank you publicly because it was so well
I
done.
appreciate that.
Thanks, Daryl. Sorry, Annette.
Yeah, so that's where we're at with that. The fire protection grant. So you can see that we were approved for that funding, and so we have to sign an agreement, so I have it included in a bylaw this evening, but I included the application also in, so the council could read a little bit more about it if you're interested before the bylaw comes this evening, but I think it's anything we can do to invest in our equipment, in our departments. The Bone Tree Union Public Library, so I did advise them that we are looking to increase their rent this year by 2%, similar to I know last year was a bigger increase, based on markets, based on capital expenses, based on all of those things. And so giving them a heads up for their budget this year, to have a 2% increase for 2025. FileFold implementation, so that is a record management system that we're working on implementing. And so this year I am really going to try and put some more efforts towards it and have all of my permanent files saved into there so that even if I'm working on our current server, everything permanent is in there because it will make life a lot easier going forward for searching and finding and organization in the future. Because I know quite a few municipalities that's a lot of work up front. Nobody liked it up front, but I can tell you 5, 10, 13 years later, everyone's like, thank God we did this. So I keep trying to cling to that and say, this is not, these efforts are not for me, they're for the future. So, working towards that. Alternative voting, as we discussed, we're going to do the vote by mail. So that has to come forward by a bylaw by the end of May. So I'm still working on getting that bylaw sorted because we have to have certain dates and certain things all in place. So I've got to take a minute to sort of go through that and bring that forward. And as the mayor was speaking earlier, we'll be attending Roma this week. We've got the two delegations with MTO and with the Ministry of Finance. And environment's not happening, but I am presenting on the new Blue Box transition. So at least I'll have time to make my say to lots of different people. So hopefully they'll hear some of the challenges that we've been having and look at it with more of a rural lens.
So, question, when you and Jennifer are away for the Roma meeting, who steps into your shoes?
So Sandra is the deputy CAO. So if there are any major issues that
Just I want to know who to avoid.
Sandra.
You want to know who's going to complain?
Thank you.
John's
Yeah.
nervous now being
So
deputy
then-
mayor.
Yeah, but-
He's like,
So that
they're
I
gone
guess,
for like 5 days.
so the Roma report, I guess, and then that'll be the first meeting in February, I guess, then you'll be.
I'm
reporting
gonna
on
do
it.
my mayor's report, but I'm going to have a huge report on Roma.
Oh, yeah, but you'll probably provide a report for how our delegations went at the
Yes.
first meeting in February though?
Yes,
And then your mayor's report will be in the second meeting. in
no,
February.
I'm
Oh,
gonna
they're
do it
both
all.
in? Okay.
I'm gonna do it all, Brent.
Oh, yeah.
I got a lot to report on,
And I will report.
but I only have one hand and I'm typing like this, so it's not ideal, so I just thought
No, I just wanted clarification on it, because I just want to make sure. Sounds good.
when have I ever not given you a report after?
I was curious.
Just say it.
I'll add it to my regular report.
I was trying to bump the mayor's report to the second meeting, and then we have a Roma report on the first meeting in February.
But this is, I'm on the Roma board, so this is my conference.
Well, we could do a Roma update.
Yeah,
And then do a mayor's
it's-
update at the next
And
one.
she can have 2 slots.
It's, yes, I can have 2 slots.
Yeah, one in the first meeting and one in the second.
No. Tracy, you're gonna be chair.
That's right.
You'll allow
She
it,
can have
right?
what she wants.
See?
All right, I stand corrected.
I voted.
I haven't been separating Roma out, but I can. I mean, I can
I
separate the conference. That doesn't matter.
I was just
It's
curious.
exciting.
Just depends how, because it sounds like your mayor's report is gonna be lengthy.
It is.
And that's why I was like, well, see what their agenda looks like and separate the two. That's all.
I've been working.
Mhm.
I don't
Sounds good.
sit at home eating bonbons, even though look at you, look at my belly.
No, I look at the wrist. Thought she hurt the wrist, right? Those bonbons.
So,
Moving right
What
along,
a
thank
meeting.
you.
back to Annette.
Yes, and of course, because I am speaking on a panel, then I do also get a discount and half price for the conference. So that's nice for the municipality.
We're so good.
So the pilot project that we had in the summer, that then I asked council, can we continue it to the end of January? So we did continue it to the end of January with the hours when staff is answering phones and dealing with the counter. It continues to work well. Staff continues to have half an hour a day of focus time if they need it. I have not had not one concern or one complaint. You know, I've definitely seen staff who have been here after hours have answered the phone, have answered the door, you know, have, if we're staying here for council, you know, have even, you know, answered at 5 o'clock. So I don't think it does impact the service to the public, but not, I really don't feel like it's detrimental in any way. I think most of the public is here between 8:30 and 4 anyway. The ones that, you know, need a workaround, they either call us, let us know they're coming, we deal with it. But it does allow, you know, at the end of the day, if we've got to reconcile everything at the counter, if we've got to close stuff off, if we've got stuff to do, it allows us the focus time to be able to do that. Or, you know, if we've got coming in first thing in the morning and having that extra half an hour where you're just really focused on something to get your day started. And I think, or if you come in a half an hour early because you have an appointment at 4 o'clock, then we're not losing time. We're still getting the time out of that employee. So I think it's been positive. I think it's had a lot of benefits. I would like to see it made permanent. So that's my request to committee and council today is, can we continue to make it permanent?
Do you want a resolution? Like, would you like a mover and seconder? Do you want staff direction?
I think staff direct, because we've done it for this period of time. You know, the signs are up on the door. It seems to be accepted. So I think if I just had staff direction that yes, we are okay with, you know, making that permanent. And, you know, if we want to review it in a year's time, that's fine. If we want to review it, you know, every term of council, that's fine. But at this stage, I see only benefits and I have not seen any downfalls.
The
So I
work
think
gets done and the staff is happy, so
Yes.
what more do we
Yeah.
want?
win-win. And we call it a pilot project, and that implies that there will likely be change. So we leave it in your capable hands.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then the last item on my report before I get to Erica's and Sarah's was really just a reach out for the AMO conference, because the hotels came up this morning. So I have booked one for myself. And then as the mayor indicated, the county has booked her.
Hopefully.
And, everyone else is either not attending or attending for the day session, but not staying over. So I think that's all gone ahead. I haven't registered myself or registered anybody interested yet because there's lots of time to do that. So I'll do that closer to the day. So I'll touch base probably one more time in the spring, early summer to kind of say, are you interested in going? I didn't book hotels, but are you interested in going? And we can have that discussion later on.
And the thing is too, by the spring, they won't have their program done,
Mhm.
but there'll certainly be discussion about things that could possibly be like keynote speakers, etc. So it might be a better time if we budget for daytime, not
Mhm.
hotels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I might just go for a day this year.
yeah.
and there is a day fee.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to go for
Yeah.
2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending on the speakers.
On this, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so well, anyway, we can bring that forward discussion later. That's not as much of a rush. There's generally lots of room for registration. But if I get an email in the meantime that says registration is closing and it's going to fill up, then I'll reach out sooner. So Erica's report, just the zonings are on there. Anne is still coming into the office, so she moved her dates to Wednesdays from Tuesdays so that it didn't conflict with council, because she'd be in the council chamber, then in the lunchroom, and so this way on Wednesdays now, of course, the first Wednesday of the month, you know, Egan Villaneria was in here, and then I had a meeting in here, and so it didn't work out super well for the very first Wednesday, but going forward, it should be fine. And I mean, Egan Villaneria is just in here for an hour at lunch, and they're normally at lunch anyway, so that's.
when Daryl moves upstairs, we could put Ann in an office.
We can certainly have that discussion, yeah.
Yeah,
So nothing else coming up yet at this point for public meetings. There's been no licenses, no marriage licenses, no lottery licenses as of yet. But I'm sure those will will come rolling in. We're only the 14th of January, so. And emergency management, good news, we received our compliance, so we're
Yay.
good. For 1 more year, so that's perfect. And our alternate CEMC, Dylan Hawley from the Water Department, completed his IMS 100, so that's a start. And working towards his other courses that are required for CEMC, so we have a good backup for Erica.
Oh, yeah, it's not even, you thought it was Connie. You were gonna throw Connie in
For the
for
information
emergency. It's
officer.
Dylan.
No, my recommendation was that Connie as the information officer.
Oh, the
So
communication.
like, for example, like Dana, like she could get stuck on the highway somewhere.
Right,
My
right.
recommendation was to have Connie actually. as
Yeah.
the Information officer as a secondary. Right?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
That's what I
Connie
would
will love that.
recommend exactly, right?
And then on to Sarah's report.
And
So,
she needs a big thank you as well.
yes, she actually, we can bring her in too,
Let's do it.
if that's all right. with you.
Sarah,
Absolutely.
can you come here, please? So we've been thanking all of the department heads and staff that have helped out with the 7+ parade. And you deserve a huge thank you and congratulations, sitting out there in the freezing cold, registering people. And I know that you took care of all of the emailing the people with floats and everything else. You did an incredible job and the parade was such a success. So thank you for that. Yay. Do you like it at night?
I was sick last year, so I didn't even get.
Oh, you
During the
didn't
day,
see
so-
daytime, so you don't have a frame of reference. So Sarah's like, I thought it was always at night. Thank you, Sarah. She really did do a bang up job. And so did you.
Yes, she did.
And so did you, Annette,
Thank you, Annette.
Yeah.
Just want to say that.
the leader.
Yeah, so we've got the career job fair that's coming up, so we moved that to the Friday of March break, which I think will be good rather than the Friday of the May long weekend. And hopefully we'll have lots of people. I know Sarah's working hard. She's been in contact with the various people who are wanting to sign up, and we're really hoping to gear this towards the high school students and have a lot of stuff for them to participate on, like active stuff, like not just a job fair where you're going around talking to people about careers, but really like aptitude tests and, you know, interactive stuff. So she's working hard on that. So I'm excited to see how that turns out. And so another thing going into, you know, March Madness, we've got Camp Smitty, who's interested in doing a March break camp again. And of course, Sarah works actively with them, doing their registration and creating a calendar with all of the different groups around between the museum, the library, the curling club, all of those things to bring them together to demonstrate the Legion, all of the events that are going on. So that'll be another exciting calendar this year. The swim program. So again, we're working in that. And so last year we had Northumberland Wilberforce and Laurentian Valley, and Whitewater Region has reached out and they've asked if they could join. So it's expanding, and we're going to continue to work to see what opportunities we can have for a swim program again this year. The newsletter, of course, has gone out, lots of grant applications that Sarah got out, so
Holy.
we will continue to work for that. And that's her whole report. So if there's any questions, and if not, then that's it for me, Mr. Chair.
She was a good hire. All right, that finishes our reports. Moving on to correspondence.
Or do we want to have a small break part of course?
I wouldn't mind the bathroom, but.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Come back in 5 or so.
Thanks.
We are back.
Thank you. Moving on to item 7, correspondence, or 7.1 correspondence A for your information. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, then on to 7.2 correspondence B.
So we have a lot.
Yes,
We've,
very much.
so the request from the 4-H club,
Can we start in order?
sure,
Number 1.
sure.
Okay,
Do you want the letter from MMAH?
Yeah, I thought it's a good one to support, actually. And just because it just puts the rural lens in. I know we've addressed it multiple times.
We've done it with Roma as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the only thing. I saw that one was just, that's the only reason. And it
Yeah.
was just that if we actually support, it's just a rural lens, that just a reminder that we've always said at this table, so.
so we need no resolution for that. We just will,
Just a
can we
Yeah.
letter,
agree to support that?
Yeah.
Letter, thank you.
just a letter of support is all I'm asking for now.
Number 2.
We're already doing it.
Oh, I see.
With Enbridge.
Okay, so no action needed there.
Nope.
City of Toronto resolution to respect local democracy, always a good idea. But do we need to, do we want to take part in this?
We are going to be receiving a civility resolution from AMO. So I would suggest that we do it under the banner of AMO.
Thank you.
Yeah, makes sense.
Number 4, resolution for protection of agricultural land and sustainable development. Another good idea, but I'm not sure if this is our,
I said no.
It's in the official plan.
very good. Number 5, resolution regarding aggregate tax framework.
I wonder, like, we've got, what, 3 pits? And then I don't know if it affects the quarries as well.
I would assume it does, yes.
Yeah.
And
My actually comment on it was kind of a wait and see kind of aspect of it, because the thing is that they're trying to drive, like it depends which lens you're looking at it. I looked at it as like, hey, we're trying to stem actual agri and resources in Ontario. We have to
yes,
do something to stem development, stem people actually utilizing them. So in my opinion, we don't need to, didn't want to support it at all. But I said, my recommendation, my exact notes was, how about we put this under correspondence C?
Oh,
and then
no.
We can discuss it on a later date is what I actually wanted, because I thought it's a good watch file for us. That was my recommendation.
all right, we'll put it in the watch file for Brent.
Well, that would presume that we're going to get additional information next meeting.
We will,
'Cause
well,
we
we,
can't keep going on and on
No.
correspondence C.
no,
Okay, we'll put it in for one meeting. We'll put it.
so we'll see if something happens in the next 3 weeks.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a great information.
But new information does come out a lot at these conferences, so that's something that we can keep our eye on.
Okay,
Yeah, we have 4 weeks until the next meeting, so.
There you go.
fine. Number 6, a request from the 4-H club, which
I'm a yes.
again seems like a great idea.
It really does.
And she's looking, I understand that she needs a site that they can do this.
Yes,
this
so
job
she
at.
needs a kitchen space. So we could go one of 2 ways, depending on what Kevin thinks, either the Eagle's Nest or the Youth Center. But I think the Eagle's Nest would be more appropriate.
That's what she would
And
like.
the curling club would be inappropriate. They really haven't got a kitchen per se.
They do,
Just-
but I think we can grant them use of this at no cost.
Yep. Well,
So, yeah, and I think this is an amazing initiative. So they're doing it in the schools as well, teaching kids how to cook healthy. The RCDH, the health unit has funding for the schools and they do it. But if 4-H wants to expand it, I'm all in to help them do that.
That's right, because this is also about food security. You can
Yes.
spend $10 making food from scratch is
Definitely.
worth $30 spent buying processed. Sorry. that's
And
my-
no, you're absolutely
soapbox.
right. And I like the editorial, John, because I think that it's all too easy to grab a frozen meal as opposed to cooking something with fresh ingredients. But getting these kids at a young age where they're already interested in sustainability, and I mean, if you're part of 4-H, you're already part of the farming community. I think it's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
So I actually, so I'm in full support of it actually, and I have no problem waiving the fees for it, and no different than when you get into the request for the library or for the
Mhm,
museum as
yeah.
well. I have no issues with supporting both of those, but those are 3 events, I guess, that we'd be waiving the fees for. So where I was getting at is we're talking about financial constraint and responsibility before this as well. So all I was gonna say is we've done something similar in the past as well, but it's more in relation to, so my question to council and my thought was that if we looked at doing a 10% off of our remunerations as council and putting that towards the fund, that council then can waive the fees and it goes directly. So what I'm saying is that we received 90% of remunerations in 2025, and I'm saying the other 10% is automatically allocated to a reserve fund for council to waive these fees. So then if we're waiving fees, then that money is going directly to the recreation department. So that's what I'm saying is I think that would mean that roughly we'd have about, from just our remunerations, we have about $10,000 throughout the year that us as council, we have skin in the game for it. And then also, I just think that shows a lot of support for local events as well.
Because as it stands, our budget line item for, I hate to call it donations because it's not. But what is our budget now?
That under admin, right?
Yes. I can look it up, sorry.
So I didn't know if it was a resolution that would need to be passed.
Absolutely, it has to be a resolution and it has to be only,
2025 and.
yeah, it just can't filter to the next term of council. They would have to make that decision.
So,
It's a very interesting proposal. Any other comments?
so the only way, and Sandra, you correct me if I say something wrong, but I would think the only way to do that would be if you wanted us to reduce the amounts for council by, let's say, 10%. We could do that. What we'd have to do is we'd have to pass a bylaw saying here are the new amounts of council. And then, of course, you're right, if you didn't want to pass it on to the next term of council, you could, before the term is over, we could pass another bylaw for council remuneration, adding back the 10% before the next election. And then it's not gonna go into a revenue item, but that lost revenue is going to be reduced by the lowered expense for council salaries.
So how I was looking at is that other 10, like that 10% would go, so if council decides, for example, to waive events, so be it because we got our list last year, the last 5 years of all the events that we did. So so how I looked at it is instead of just being an in and out and there's no actual transfer of funds, it's in Kevin's budget, he would show an increase every time we waive something, then council. So when we're looking at, there's actual price on it. And then that means Kevin has additional, instead of just waiving it, and there's no funds for him to do from maintenance or anything.
You're talking a transfer of funds from council to the rec.
Exactly. That's how I was looking at. So you put a line, so you actually have a line, you have a line item for it, because if we keep waiving events, and we had this conversation this summer last year when we waived events, and we keep waiving events, but not putting any additional funds in, you have a wear and tear amount as well. So I'm just looking at it, it's a great way to support our community. It's a great way, and then we have skin in the game as well.
So what I would say though is that if we reduce the expense, let's say we reduce the expense by whatever amount, and then we cut a check to add back to that a council expense, it'd have to be different than salary, it'd have to be whatever, and then put it back into the rec revenue. The problem is it's not like, you're not gonna see it right at all. The revenue, it all ends up in the same pot. So what I'm hearing is if you reduce the expense by, let's say $3,000, let's say the amount is $3,000. I would track that 3,000 and every time we approve one of these, I would have it going down. And then once we reached, like if we reached $2,800 and we had another request, I would come back to council and say, so the amount that expenses were reduced by to cover these costs, we now only have this amount left for the year. So it's actually going to impact, like up until this point, it didn't impact, and now it's going to start to impact. Like it can't, like the reallocation, we can reallocate it and cut a check, reduce this expense and increase this revenue.
Oh, that's not
But
where I
it's
was
not,
going.
they're not
That's-
directly
No,
correlated.
I
You know what mean?
was thinking if we're willing to reduce our remuneration by 10%.
Mhm.
When we budget, instead of the 102, we budget for 90, the other 10 goes into the account where we use it for other things in the community.
So, but where are you gonna put it? You're gonna put it into, Kevin's rec expense, which, are you gonna
Well,
put
it'd be
it
a
into a
don't-
rec revenue?
No,
Like, it's
no.
not, it's not being tracked that way. Do you know what I mean?
As we do it, no,
Like, are you
I'm,
creating a whole nother rec
No,
rec
no, no, no.
expense in this amount?
No,
it's
no,
not a
so-
rec expense.
No, so like where I was looking at, it's not an rec expense at all. What it is this amount, this 10% that I'm requesting of council,
Mhm.
would be put into, say, donations by a council
That's-
donations line. So
That's the line.
council then has 10% in this donation fund that we've already budgeted for. You can base it on what a remuneration is. And then every time we receive a request, for example, we had 2 requests from the museum. We have 1 request for 4-H club, then where council is donating would be the actual, what the rental is.
So what
So
I'm,
that's.
so that's where we're writing a check to ourselves and we're expensing it out of that council expense, and then we're putting it into a revenue, just a
Yes.
rec revenue.
So that Kevin is never without the revenue that he would have received from us.
Gotcha.
And because we receive
Okay.
requests throughout the year, we're sponsoring events and doing
And
all
they
sorts of
added up.
things. And these add up to a significant amount. And this is where I'm trying to, and when we're talking about rolling over, at the end of the year, if we have X amount left, then us as council can make a decision what we want to do with that remaining
Okay.
money that's left in it. That's where I'm getting at.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes, because we already do internal charges.
Yes.
Like if we rent the hall as admin, we do a journal entry and we get an expense and rec gets the revenue. So it would be the same thing, except that I would recreate a new line under council called donations.
And we
Because the
used to
one-
have it, but we moved it.
Yes, and really there was 15,000 budgeted, but what always goes in there is the multi-residential tax rate versus the residential tax rate. for
Right.
Fairfields.
Mhm.
Right.
That's the bulk of that one.
Okay, but that's
Otherwise,
where
we're-
that line under council should be resurrected. Because that's where the 10% should go.
Okay.
Right, and then as we give, it doesn't affect Kevin's budget, which it shouldn't. Every time this table says, sure, you can have the Eagles Nest for free.
And I just thought it's the best way to support our community, in my opinion, so then we can have all these events, but then we don't have to have a conversation for wear and tear, other things. So I think it's a great way to bring council together. as
Well, it's a way to fund it without taxing for it.
Exactly.
So my suggestion is that if Sandra and I go away with this, when we bring back the budget at the March meeting, we will bring back those budget lines for
Yes.
approval. And if they get approved, then we'll move on, like, depending on how many get approved before March, we
Mhm.
will track those and then we'll do the entries at that time.
Perfect.
Can I just ask
Does
a
that make
question?
sense?
Didn't we at a previous meeting, you brought it up, discuss that we would charge half? Is that, and we agreed on that, or how is that in play?
That was for certain ones, but I think that the ones before us, especially 4-H.
No, I'm not
4-H,
disagreeing.
they are woefully underfunded.
Yeah,
And I think that anything we can do to keep our chapter alive and well, it's very important.
yeah, I'm not so
Yeah.
much talking about this, but I know we talked about it at a previous meeting that we would charge half.
We did, and we had parameters for them. But I think this particular one that we're on right now.
No,
it's-
I don't
yeah.
disagree, yeah.
But I also don't think it should affect Kevin
Mhm.
and his budget.
Yes.
Right.
So would we, again, this, we're deeming this to go towards projects that would affect the rec budget. How would that, it would support the library and the museum because they can rent or get a reduction or get a free space if they want to put a fundraiser in the
Right.
Eagle's Nest. That's the plan.
But there are also, paint nights, there's the burn quilt one, there are other
You know, Walk
initiatives.
for Hospice, you have a lot of events.
Exactly.
The difference is we're
So
putting,
things that are benefiting our people
Yeah,
in some way, and we're trying to keep that benefit going without chipping away at Kevin's budget.
exactly.
Okay,
It's an excellent way to fund without taxing.
and the decision for each contribution for a free rental would come to this table as before. It was-
Absolutely.
That wouldn't change.
Yeah, because then it might be enacted that we do what Tracy said, where it's a reduction in the price that we charge as opposed to a donation.
Right.
Yeah. So we've got different avenues to fund these things, but I mean, I think over the last couple of years, we've seen far more requests than we ever have before.
well, you can see the numbers, you can see the tracking, so.
Yeah, well, and the need.
Mhm.
But the
Right.
ones that we grant seem to me, they're a tangible benefit to the community.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I like the idea, Brent. I agree with that concept, but we haven't heard from Merv and Tracy particularly. But you kind of said you thought.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea. I
Yeah.
just wanted to clarify on our previous
Yeah.
meeting that it kind of felt like we had
agree
a
with
policy on it and I just wanted to.
So
bring
our,
it up.
But to John's point, you are absolutely correct, because some of these might come in, we might say, no, we'll do a reduction.
Yeah,
Other ones will say, no, council will fund that.
Yeah.
Right, and we always had a little bit of money in our I hate calling it donations. We don't donate taxpayer money, but it is a way to fund it through the budget process, that at least there's that line item.
Okay, and the idea is that this would be, call it a pilot project. It would go for 1 year or 2 years till the election. And then we would purposely stop it and let the next council make their own minds up.
Exactly, because we don't wanna bind, like, we're already, I don't wanna say underpaid, that's not the correct term, because none of us do it for the money. But we're already pretty low in the pack of the 17 municipalities. I think we normally land at about number 14. So we don't wanna get to a point where nobody wants to run in Bonnechere Valley, because, we've now eroded down to the, where we're 16th out of 17. So I wanna make sure that anybody that wants to run in the 2026 election understands that they're not bound. Well, they're not really bound by many decisions that we make at this table, but certainly they will have to make their own decision
Yeah.
at that
Yeah,
time.
That's really important.
Yeah,
Yeah, the intention for this was to set it for 2025, and then we can have discussion December if we want to carry it forward into
Yeah.
January to December. So when I was
Okay.
looking at it, it would be a 2025 initiative. And then we can have the conversation again in December, see our thoughts on it, and then if we want to do that in the first meeting in January, can bring it back for 2026.
we also wanna see where we land on it, right? So this will be like the CIP, where if we get to September and now we've donated basically all of our money, like how much utilization will this get? And we're gonna have to make some tough decisions, whether or not, what parameters fit into this and what ones we reduce.
So Ned, if we have a resolution to support this, you would help us work out the details. And as you and Sanders started doing. And would this be voted on at the council meeting?
Yeah,
So there's two different votes that need to be made. So one is the 10% reduction in council salary, which has to come forward in a bylaw. So what I would say is, January is January. It's already been, calculated and it is what it is. But if council wants a 10% reduction, we can certainly bring back the bylaw to the February 4th meeting.
Yeah.
And change the allocation. So the month of January, there will be an increase, but the month, or no, sorry, they get their increase in October. So there's not a further increase now. Sorry, excuse me. So the month of January will continue as it is. And then the month of February, there would be a 10% reduction. And then in March, we will bring forward the allocation to the donations. And if that gets approved as part of the budget process, then, you know, that will continue on until, you know, until you want to bring back the bylaw, you know.
So
Yeah.
the bylaw is to approve a redistribution of funds, as we've talked about.
The bylaw is to approve a reduction in rate, then when the
Okay.
budget comes, that's when you're going to approve really the distribution, like the allocation of the
Okay.
funds.
Yes.
Which will be in a
Which will be in
donation.
March,
so.
and yeah, and then we'll track these, and if that gets approved in March, we'll go back, I mean, we're billing ourselves basically, so
Yeah.
it shouldn't be an issue.
Yep.
So if that's the direction I'm sort of hearing.
Have we got general agreement? Any more questions?
No?
No, I think it's great.
Aye.
Excellent.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
perfect.
It's fun when things like that come up when you didn't expect them or see them coming. That was a good suggestion, Brent.
Well, and we've had this conversation every year, right? Like, how are we funding these things?
Well,
And
that's
there hasn't
why,
been enough
well,
money.
that's why, like, we looked at the data that Kevin provided, you can just track the records and go from there.
But I think the line item should be called council funded, not donations, because they aren't donations.
We can discuss the line item title at the budget.
I just
Yeah,
don't.
That's fine.
I don't like miscellaneous
And
and all like,
then-
yeah.
Yeah, but, and then I was gonna say, so I'm good with the 4-H and the museum, so we have those 3 events.
Yep.
And then the museum, did we ever get clarification on our second point that she put in the email? She had asked about.
Oh,
them
the banner.
Hanging a banner, July
Oh,
1st.
yeah, so we had discussed that prior to, and we had said we were gonna discuss that at budget when we bring back
Okay,
everything we
that,
just
that
talked
makes
about.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I just didn't know if there was a more clarification because the email was more vague on the
Yeah,
second
no,
line
that's the
item.
discussion that I had with her, is that we're going to be
Okay.
discussing it at budget,
Okay.
so I guess just, I mean, other municipalities have passed their budget now, so I think she was just clarifying, has that discussion happened, but it hasn't.
Oh, okay.
We're discussing
I
it
just
at
wanted,
budget.
that was the only part of it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so in addition to that, we're agreeing to support the request from the 4-H Club.
Yes,
Yes,
All agreed, okay? A request from the museum.
yes.
yes, both of them.
That's what the barn quilt workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to approve one and not the other. The request from the police association is a little different. That's for support, and
Have we ever done that,
I was just gonna ask.
Sandra?
that.
No, I think we,
Just put no.
yeah, we turn it down every year, I think.
Perfect.
I will agree with that. Any contrary? Moving right along then. Resolution regarding county road rationalization. I don't understand.
I
this
meant
one.
to ask Jason when he was in my notes to ask Jason about it, but. Can you,
Okay.
can you,
Comment on
Yeah,
it?
no, I think, can we hold off on comments until,
so you want us to
Uh,
put into correspondence C?
sure,
That's fine.
except I won't be able to comment on it until,
After Roma.
So-
no, after our second county meeting.
Actually, how about you just add it to your extensive mayor's report?
Okay,
for the
well,
February 4th
Okay,
meeting?
yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of consternation about this road rationalization. It's not a done deal, and there are some councils that are,
But because it's the one stretch of Ruby Road,
I know,
so then has a conversation happened that how it impact our township as well?
well, and that
And
put
that
in
was my,
our feelings. So let's throw it in correspondence C. I will have an answer for you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because when I saw that come in the package, I was about to.
I know.
I was about to send you an email and then I was looking it up in the map and I drove it, I was like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's fine, correspondence C it is.
there you go.
Yeah, it's complex enough that we need more information. So thank you
Yes,
for
and
that.
again, it was It was a fact.
But our
finding
feelings
mission.
were, our feelings were made clear, I assume, in that when
Oh, yes.
requested, okay, no, that's good.
Oh, yes, they were.
No, no, just wanted to make sure, we don't need more roads is the best way to put it.
I could feel Annette coming through my laptop.
Jason and I met and had a discussion. We reviewed this report. We agreed on the comments that were going to be returned. We sent comments in because it was, they were asking for staff at the time. All of the public works supers met as well at the county building, had a further discussion. Craig Kelly then came to our Renfrew County Clerks and Treasurers meeting and made a presentation. And I don't think anything is happening with this report
That's
at
good.
this time, is my understanding, but I will wait to hear back from you once we
Okay,
discuss it at county council.
So I will know after our county council meeting on January 28th, I believe. I will know more.
So that's great that we're putting correspondence as well, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah,
Unreal.
well, it's hard not to agree with a good idea.
Yeah.
All right,
No, but I knew that this was gonna cause some issues and I didn't want to comment because I wasn't sure. I won't know until the 28th.
okay,
Yeah.
done. On to item number 10, request for a cycling event. This is a
No,
little
isn't
more
this-
complicated.
Yes, I mean, it's lovely. It's a lovely idea. I'm so excited. The challenge is, of course, that Foyman Road is a county road. So this is going to take a little more work between Annette and her counterparts at the county. But I would just ask that I think it's very exciting. And a huge event, like they pull from everywhere. So, and who knows, maybe people will come from Vermont and they'll stay. You don't know.
I think it's great for our tourism. I
I
think
think
it's gonna
it's-
give great profile to our area.
No
Especially
kidding.
that they're meeting at St. Anne's Parish as well, and the history with that place,
No kidding, Tracy.
I wouldn't want to be going up and down Foy Mount Hill on a bike, but hats off to those.
And they-
I'd go
I mean-
down,
Yeah.
but that's good. No, it's exactly right. This is, Bob
Pick
Peltzer
with
went
the-
and spread Bon Jour Valley to Japan, and maybe some Japanese people can come. here and do it.
Exactly.
It's good.
Okay, so there are 3 roadblocks, pun intended. So I think that if we're all excited about this, and I think we are, we can leave it with Annette and the county to figure out, I guess, time is of the essence only because they want to get it advertised, correct?
So I was gonna say, yeah, obviously we need, this is a county road, obviously, so it's.
But we do the Tour de Bonachir, so it shouldn't be any
Well,
different.
So like my kind of comments on it is just, so the request came in to us to provide like road support and this and that. So I kind of looked at it as like a 50-50 contribution between the county employees and our employees, how I was looking at it originally, but.
I had all county employees, what are you talking?
Well, or all county, I'm fine with that. I think it's a good initiative. Obviously, the Ball Diamond's private, so you have to make sure that the individual knows that the Ball Diamond is privately owned. It's not municipally owned, because that was one of the comments that were in it.
Yeah,
And then the only other thing too is I thought it'd be really great and it might alleviate some of the township having to do extra work was just to get obviously Bob Peltzer and Chris Hinsberg involved in the initiative as well. Just because it's a cycling event and they're massive cyclists in the area and there would probably be a great helping hand. And then also my only other thing was just to reach out to your large commercial in the area, which I would say Obiang, Heideman's and just try to get their support as well for it as well.
yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's funny that you say that. I had Bob Peltzer in my notes as well to find out how they do it. Because why reinvent the wheel? But I think that they've put on this event successfully. And I think between county and us, and you're not wrong, Brent, I guess our roads crew, county roads crew, but I think that this could be really, really, really good for our area.
So if they want to have it on Foy Mount Road, they have to go through the county. The county has a very distinct process of how that happens. So I will happily get back to them and let them know that. So that's item number 1. If for some reason they find the county process too difficult, I'm not saying it is, it could be super simple. I have not looked at the process. They just said we have a certain process that we have to follow. If not, there is Macaulay Mountain Road, which is the same elevation. It's just that it's gravel. So I know that's not as nice.
So could we,
Maybe if you're on a
Could-
fat night,
but I guess
Yeah.
could we not,
It should be both
so
ways.
this is gonna be like I guess it's on a county road, so it's a
Mhm.
county initiative and we're gonna help support it the best we
Correct.
can.
That's
These, we
right.
have local volunteers that will
Yeah.
help support
Yeah.
this individual
Yeah.
as well.
yeah,
But, what happens if we ask the mayor to bring this forward to county as well?
I can do that.
And then see.
I
if-
wasn't even sure if you
then-
guys would say
then- Then
yes.
see if county staff will help fill out the paperwork with this gentleman.
I'm sure they will. I talked to county staff and
Yeah.
they said there's just a process, so to put them in touch and have a process, but I would definitely offer the person, reach out to the county, find out what the process is. If you have any concerns or issues with it, please reach back out to myself, because it might all go smooth. It might
Yeah.
be no problem at all. If they run into roadblocks, then, to reach back out to the township, and then, yes, I would say we could definitely have a conversation with the mayor to bring it back up to county if there's issues with the procedure or the policy that.
I have no
that are
problem with
not.
that.
And there may
Yeah.
not be, like I said, it might be an easy procedure. The other thing that they were asking about was insurance. So,
Yes.
we should not insure the event. What they should do is they should purchase their own insurance, which events like this, they purchase insurance all the time. It's no different than if you ran a golf.
What
tournament
does
or
the
something
Tour de
else.
Bon Sure do?
It-
and-
So, yeah.
Tour de Bon Sure doesn't shut down the highway, right?
Mhm.
No,
They just ride.
Yeah, so that's where I think this individual and the
Well,
county should have some conversation to see what they want to do.
Right.
But if they're purchasing their own insurance and the concern is we don't have the money to purchase the insurance, then I would say there could be a conversation where we support them either with in-kind or with funds to insure the insurance.
Okay.
Does that's the conversation I want.
no, that,
thought I would
I'm
have.
fine.
that
Yeah.
makes
Okay.
sense.
Yeah.
I think just keep it consistent with other organizations like Tour de Bon Sure.
But that's why you-
Et cetera.
You said Bob and Chris. I had Bob's name in my notes.
Well,
only
just because you can, they biked in the Christmas parade.
I know.
They would absolutely, in my opinion, get behind an event like this, and it's great for the area.
For sure, yeah.
For sure.
And I think the concept's good. I think it's just making sure that you have
Yeah.
your local support and also individuals that utilize the road all the
Yeah.
time for their own.
But just so that you guys know, I don't bring stuff to county until it hits this table if it's sent to me as the mayor of Bonashir Valley. I don't circumvent you guys.
And if the county wants to take more responsibility
know.
on it, then I'm fine with.
So-
I'm willing to go up to 50% if needed, and just because I think it's a unique event.
You're
and I don't
so
think there's
benevolent today.
What I'm here for.
So,
I'm not chair anymore, so I get time to think, right?
anyway,
So he's all chatty now.
so I see that we have, I think we've got consensus, this is a good idea for us to support as a Montreal Council. And we'll move ahead and give Annette direction to work with this gentleman and others in our community, and let's make it a big
thought it was a woman.
positive event. Or is Cameron a woman? That could
I
be.
don't know.
I just don't judge. I'm just willing to work with them.
See?
Wow, you're right.
What I'm here for. 2025, guys.
He's like,
Oh, my.
he's like an animal unleashed.
I know, so just for our viewing public, Brent is no longer deputy mayor and he's not chairing the meetings. So now apparently he's like the mayor in being chatty Cathy. I know you.
Yeah, but it's productivity though.
I
Think about
like
what
it.
I think about what I say. It's all been productive so far because, we're
So
a
far.
team, we got stuff to get done.
Maybe not on a break, but yeah.
Anyway,
Right.
that's number 10 and correspondence C, nothing to do this week.
Nope.
All right. Moving to new and unfinished business, we have library update to,
Thank you
To
for the
discuss.
year end. That was great.
Yeah, it was the timing of it. So we actually have a meeting, we have a meeting actually tonight, for library as well, but. So in this year's report, the one that's we're discussing tonight, it actually has all the statistics for 2024 and stuff like
Right.
that. So you can see that. You can see that it's heavily utilized and everything like that, so, we're gonna be finalizing the budget.
The most wonderful graphic.
I know,
No,
right?
it's, they started doing that, I think, about 5 years ago
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
Barb was on the board, and it's just a simple thing, it's really good to give to, our residents as well, in both North Lagona and BV as well. But no, it's, any questions on it, I can,
No, it's,
but we are discussing what I sent you tonight, so it's just, how the meeting's lined up this month.
awesome.
Besides that,
Yeah, no, please, pass our thanks along with the 2% increase.
no,
That's-
and I'm
that's
glad you guys
fantastic.
discussed at the last
Yeah.
meeting and stuff like that, obviously, and, but no, that's everything I had for the library board, and because I wasn't at the last meeting, then, I'll provide any answers or questions, but also at the last meeting, you guys discussed like the proposals and priorities for 2025 and 2026. So at the next meeting, I will actually be discussing mine and presenting those to council.
Okay, can you go through my notes, G, please?
I went actually through it, like afterwards, and I put actually additional time to like what I want to accomplish in 2025 and 2026.
You added?
I added a significant amount, and I'll actually be like reporting on it, just what I think are the initiatives, and I've already added that to the agenda for the next meeting.
Well, that will be the
Um,
past deputy mayor's report.
Yes,
I guess so, but no, I have put a lot of time into it, and I put a lot
you
more
did,
detail
but
into
did
it.
you see my notes on some of them?
Oh, yeah, but I've added an extensive amount, put a lot more, because I spent a lot of time on it over the holidays on it actually, and I was gonna present actually at this meeting. But I'm about 95% where I'm satisfied at it, so I'm gonna be discussing at the next meeting. So just so council's aware, like I'll have, I can answer any library, questions at the next meeting, but I'll also be talking about, the challenge the mayor put to us, which was setting our priorities for 2025 and 2026, so. Thanks.
Very good. 8.2, museum update.
Not much, other than we're applying for a capital grant through the Trillium Foundation, so that's anywhere between $10,000 and $200,000. So a couple of us are working on that, and just cleaning up the museum, like really good board that's been established, and everybody's in sync, so it's a good team.
That's good. There
Oh,
you
very
go.
good.
Gotta love it when a good plan comes together.
All right, moving on to the mayor's report. You want to,
I'll do mine with Brad at our next meeting with my 2025.
mayor's report will be deferred.
Yep, but I will actually separate out the Roma conference now that I'm thinking about it.
No, it makes the most sense,
does.
just so we can isolate it, because there'll
Yeah.
be follow-up questions, because I know in the MTO, we have the three components of it. So
I know.
I'm interested in it, so.
I know.
The chair defers to your judgment. That's good.
Thank you, sir.
Establishing our next meeting date, I think it is established already. And no more work for us in January, and we go to February the
4th.
and it will be chaired by Tracy Sanderson.
Yep,
Media session, no,
she left.
no closed session today. And here we are. It's time for, do I need a motion for conclusion of this meeting or adjournment of this meeting? Any takers? Mervis, all in favor?